Hello everyone, my name's Justin Prince, and welcome to episode 6 of my NBA 2K77 MyLeague. We look to become one of the greatest dynasties of the 1970s and 80s. We entered today's game 35-44, after winning the battle of who was not going to be last in the standings. Fortunately and unfortunately, that was us, with Tom Burleson scoring 33 points off the bench, 9 rebounds along with 2 blocks, while Earl Monroe led the way in scoring with 38 points and 16 of 31 shooting. But the bench play was the main difference. 49-17 was the bench points differential in the matchup. As well, we outshot them by 10 made field goals in the 109-94 SuperSonics victory. Now the unfortunate part. We are now no longer the worst team in the NBA record-wise likely to end off the season. That's because with 3 games remaining, we have 2 expansion games remaining, meaning at worst we finish with 37 victories, at best 38. We are likely battling for the 2nd overall pick in the 1977 draft when it comes to the real teams, with the Phoenix Suns and the New York Nets. It all depends on the next few days to see who gets which picks. Oh, and by the way, there just so happens to be every single playoff position locked up. The Buffalo Braves have the top seed in the Western Conference over the Portland Trailblazers, the Denver Nuggets, the Golden State Warriors, today's opponent, the New Orleans Jazz, the San Antonio Spurs, Kansas City Kings, and the Los Angeles Lakers in the West, while it's Chicago, Boston, Philadelphia, Detroit, Milwaukee, Atlanta, Indiana, and very likely, unless there's a collapse, the Washington Bullets as the 8 playoff teams in the East. As mentioned, today's matchup is one that was what we started the series off with, against the New Orleans Jazz. It's expected to be a tough one. Let's get right to it. The following is a special presentation of the National Basketball Association on CBS. Hello everyone and welcome to Seattle Center Coliseum. As we get ready to close out the 1976-77 season in style, it's the New Orleans Jazz and the Seattle SuperSonics here on CBS. Let's take a look at your starting lineup for the Jazz. It's Freddie Boyd, Pete Maravich, Aaron James, E.C. Coleman, and Otto Moore. While for Seattle, it's Slick Watts, Dennis Johnson, Bob Wilkerson, Mike Bantam, Tom Burleson, your starting 5s. We're already set to go. We're underway from Seattle. The Jazz win the tip. Boyd will take it across the timeline for New Orleans. Watts on defense for the first possession of the game. So far, the Jazz have had an impressive campaign, led by that man, Pistol Pete Maravich, with the bucket. He's one of the top scorers this season, 31.6 points per game on the campaign, also averaging a season-high 10.7 assists in the entire NBA. Watts with it. 10 on the shot clock. Picked set by Bantam. Tries to drive down low, kicked outside to Wilkerson. Down to 4 on the shot clock. Once again to Watts. Down to Burleson for the right-hand stop. And back and forth we start here in Seattle. 2-2 is your score, approaching 1 minute into the first quarter here on CBS. I'm Justin Prince. Expected to be an intense matchup between these teams today. 57-23 for the Jazz entering today. They've already clinched a playoff spot. Maravich, no good on the jump shot. The Jazz, meanwhile, are fighting for pride, to say the very least. 36-44 coming into tonight, already out of playoff eligibility. Right now trying to become no worse than 2nd in the league. No good is the shot for Wilkerson on the layup. Taken up by Pistol Pete. Maravich is dealing with a broken nose today as he drains the layup, so that may hamper him a little bit in this one. He just so happens to be one of the top rebounders for the Jazz this season, 8.2 rebounds per game as well this campaign. Burleson in the low post, passed out to Johnson, off to Slick Watts for the long jumper, gets it to bouncing. And the catch and shoot works out that time for Seattle. It's 4-4. Boyd. Down to Maravich. Back to Coleman. It's one around to Boyd. New Orleans trying to open up the paint. Moore with it with 8 on the shot clock. Tries to drive by Burleson. No good. Picked up by Burleson on the rebound. Taken up by Watts. Coming into this matchup, Seattle is on a 3-game winning streak. An exhibition matchup mixed in. They have beaten both the New York teams, the Nets and the Knicks, entering today. Burleson down low gets it. One of the bright spots for the 1976-77 season. Get himself up to 4 points already this quarter. Boyd. One around to Maravich. Ball on the shot clock with the screen set. Jump shot once more, no good. Taken up once again now by Dennis Johnson. Scanning the floor. Gives it off to Burleson. Guarded by James. Over top James, yes. Burleson came in today averaging 11.1 points per game on the season and 8.8 rebounds per game. He's 3 for 3 from the field to start here at home. Fading back is Maravich for the long jumper, yes. And even with the broken nose, he has been performing exceptionally well, shooting more than 50% from the field entering today this season. Johnson, Watts, long J, no good. Burleson's second chance draws the whistle. He'll go to the line to shoot for 2. First personal against the Jazz today goes to credited direction of E.C. Coleman. On the season, the Sonics are 73.2% from the stripe. That's 21st best in the NBA. Burleson is shooting 81.8% this season. First to 2 is good. That gives them the edge by 3 for the time being. And the second is good. They have scored 100-plus points in 5 consecutive games, the SuperSonics have. Compare that to the Jazz. They scored just 89 points in a victory against the Suns in their last matchup. Down to 8 on the shot clock once more. Boyd, screen set by Coleman. He tries to roll in. Boyd gets some separation, rejected by Bantam. And a fresh shot clock leads to another rejection. Picked up by Seattle on the rebound. Johnson leads the fast break. Pass to Burleson, and it goes out of bounds with 8:05 to go in the first. And a bad pass on that fast break. Gives the ball back to the Jazz. It's one around the outside. Maravich, another long J, this time off the back screws. Taken up by Johnson with the quick step. Calling the play now for Burleson. Burleson comes for the screen. Burleson goes for the roll. Johnson goes for the drive. And Dennis Johnson, the impressive rookie from Pepperdine College, has been averaging 10.8 points per game entering today. And watch as the reach is called against Watts, his first personal. Down will go to the way of the Jazz down the sideline. They trail by 6 with 7:34 to go in the first quarter here on CBS. Closing stages of the season, Seattle looking to play for pride. New Orleans trying to secure a couple more victories in the closing stages of 76-77's NBA season before a postseason run. Down to James it goes. Trying to spin away from Wilkerson. Back out to Maravich. 5 of the shot clock. Maravich gets another jumper to drop. And Pistol Pete, even with the broken nose, looking nice and efficient from the field so far. Making multiple jumpers today. As Burleson gives it off to Johnson. 12 on the shot clock. Pass down low. Back outside to Wilkerson. Tries to go for the jump shot. Gets it down the baseline. Mike Bantam credited for the assist on the play. 6-point advantage as Boyd, fade away no good, rebounded by Bantam. Bantam entered today with 13.8 points per game, 12.3 rebounds for the SuperSonics as Johnson no good inside. Couldn't get the bucket in the midst of traffic. Taken back up by Boyd. Freddie Boyd this season. An up-and-down campaign, 6.5 points per game, 3.5 assists, as it's no good for the Jazz. Taken up by Burleson. Gets it to go. Timeout called by New Orleans. And Elgin Baylor is not happy with what he's seen. 16-8, your score. Down to the final minute and 7 seconds as the second free throw set to go from Behagen. And no good. Rebounded by Brewer. Tossed up the floor. Wilkerson to Tolson. Resets. Dean Tolson can't get the fadeaway to go. Now Goodrich will now take it up the floor for New Orleans. Williams. Screen set. Can't break the defense. Rejected from behind. Picked up by Wilkerson. Wilkerson tries to go coast to coast. Passes it outside and intercepted. Goodrich now with it as he slows down the tempo. Between shot clock and game clock, about 17 seconds. Under 30 seconds to play in the quarter. Goodrich, long J, no. Taken up by Wilkerson, now a 3-second difference. Shot clock and game clock. Johnson, screen set by Tolson. Tries to cut in. Retreats back out for the pass. Seals. Pass down low to Brewer. Right under the cup. Gets it to go. Shot clock is now off for the final possession of the quarter. Seattle leads by more than 10. Driving in. McElroy gets it to go. Jim McElroy with the N1. Chance to bring it down to 8. The N1's converted. 30-22 now your score with 4 seconds remaining. Johnson to close out the quarter. Contested jump shot. No good. And after 12 minutes of play, the SuperSonics lead 30-22 over the Jazz here on CBS. Welcome back to Seattle, where the SuperSonics lead by 8 over the playoff-bound Jazz. I'm Justin Prince. Welcome back to CBS's coverage here at Seattle Center Coliseum. Down low, it's Tolson with it. Along with them on the floor is Johnson, Seals, Brewer, Wilkerson, the 5 for Seattle. For the Jazz, it's Goodrich, Maravich, Moore, McElroy, James, the 5. Long jump shot. Wilkerson over contested traffic, couldn't get it to fall. Got him by Moore that time. Just 35% shooting for the Jazz in the first quarter as McElroy gets the first bucket on the first shot of the frame. One of the positives for the Jazz in the first quarter. 7 first quarter points, 1 assist on 3 of 5 shooting. With it is Brewer, passed out to Johnson. Another long jump shot, this time it rolls around and in. Dennis Johnson now has 6 this game. A very quiet night for Dennis Johnson so far, with the assist credited to Jim Brewer. Long jumper, no good. By the way, when it comes to Brewer, his 3rd assist on the game already. Seattle with 17 rebounds. They entered tonight's matchup as one of the top rebounding teams in the NBA, 73.7, second best. Floating jump shot, no good, off the back of the rim. McElroy now takes it up. Jump shot from the free throw line doesn't get the lucky roll. Now taken up by Johnson once more, approaching 90 seconds into the second quarter here on CBS. Wilkerson, another long J, yes sir. And the lead's back up to double digits for the SuperSonics. Wilkerson now has 6 this game. Seals. Passed along to Moore. Giving a Goodrich. Johnson on the defense. Offense frozen up for 3 on the shot clock. Goodrich steps back. Long jump shot. Over top his man. Can't get it to go. But we're on the rebound that time. Slowed back down once more by Johnson. Tries to juke out Goodrich. Spins away to the left. Finds Brewer down low. With the right hand, it's rejected by Moore. Taken up now by the Jazz. Goodrich, quick jumper, no good. Slow back down by Johnson once again. The pace continuing to fluctuate between fast from the Jazz and slow to Seattle. +9 advantage on the boards for the SuperSonics. Ball poked loose, stolen away by McElroy. McElroy takes it up. Out to Pistol Pete on the outside for the J, yes sir. And Pistol Pete now with 10 points this game. He was 8 for 7 in the first quarter with 8 points in that frame. Johnson again nearly juking out Goodrich. Step to the right. Tries to get separation in the paint. Wilkerson goes for the jump shot. Rolls it in. Impressive game for Wilkerson so far. 16 of 30 now for Seattle, by the way, in the game. It's 53%, just 33% shooting from the Jazz. Maravich again, though, no good. And Pistol Pete trying to shoot his way and his team into this game. Johnson juking out Goodrich, out to Brewer. A long jump shot, no good. Not even a chance that time as Maravich finds McElroy, draws the whistle. He'll go to the line to shoot for two with 8:28 to go in the first half. Brewer called for the personal. Jazz entered today shooting 80.3% from the stripe. That's 8th best in the NBA. McElroy, one of the top free throw shooters for the Jazz this season at 87.3%. First one is no good as multiple substitutions will come in. Boyd will move back in at point guard for Goodrich. Meanwhile, the SuperSonics make multiple substitutions, bringing back in Burleson, Green, Coulson, as well Slick Watts. Also shuffle Dennis Johnson over to shooting guard. Second free throw is good. Leads back down to single digits once more here in Seattle. Watts now takes it up for the SuperSonics. Trying to juke out Boyd. Back out to Johnson. 12 on the shot clock. Goes for the jumper. No good. Rolls around. Picked up to Maravich. Another quick jumper from Pistol Pete, and this time it bounces out of bounds. Seattle possession. Let's take a look at the stat line for Dennis Johnson. As talked about, 10.8 points per game entering tonight. 3.5 assists and 3.6 rebounds. He has fluctuated from the starting lineup at shooting guard to the bench much of the season between him, Fred Brown, and Slick Watts. Bantam, 13 to work with. Goes for the post fade. Can't get the hook to roll in. Picked up by Boyd on the rebound that time as Maravich steps back just around the free throw line, gets it. And the Jazz starting to chip away at this lead all of a sudden as we approach midway through the second quarter. Watts to Green. Draws contact. He'll go to the line to shoot for two. First personal against Boyd. Let's take a look at points off turnovers, where the SuperSonics just so happen to be one of the top teams in that category, 5th. The Jazz, though, have the best points off turnovers ratio this season. Though at the stripe with 75% shooting this season is Mike Green. 13 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, 1.8 blocks. He goes 2 for 2 at the stripe. Boyd sheds his defender straight up Main Street for the bucket. And made it look nice and pretty too on the drive to reduce the lead to 7. Burleson sets the screen, passed out to Burleson. Has the mismatch in the post, gives it to Johnson instead. Johnson steps in and he'll go to the line to shoot for 2. Pete Maravich called for his first personal foul, and the free throw game is starting to become important between these teams. Johnson, keep in mind, is only a 53.5% shooter from the stripe in 76-77. And the first free throw is good. Second one rims out. Rebound picked up by Coleman. 5 minutes into the second quarter here on CBS as James tries to drive it in. Over top 2 defenders, no good. And on the glass that time. As Watts tries to electrify the offense for Seattle. Finding Bantam for the cut. And now he'll go to the line to shoot for 2. And the first one draws for Bantam as it has been a parade of free throws throughout this quarter. Multiple different personal fouls. Both teams are at or near the limit at the moment. Second free throw this time up and good. Maravich this time will carry it down himself. Maravich jukes out Johnson. Another J, another miss. This time Coleman, though, able to put it back in. Watts this time will get the pick from Burleson. Burleson underneath the cup. Retreats back out. Has it poked loose by Coleman. Boyd now takes it up after the steal. Trying to drive in. No good. Maravich picks up the pieces. Lead is now trimmed down to 41-35, the least it's been in the past 6+ minutes. Watts to Burleson, back to Watts. Over top Boyd, no good. Seattle is starting to become ice cold from the field. Maravich on the fast break, yes sir. And timeout called Seattle. They are not liking what they're seeing. Bill Russell wants to discuss things. His team leads 41-37. Welcome back to Seattle, where the SuperSonics lead 41-37. They have allowed an endless run that seems to have built up from a 10-point advantage down to just 4, with multiple trips to the free throw line. Both teams have struggled to get a rhythm offensively. Now, after the miss, Maravich leads the fast break, shows the other problem the team has been facing. Fouls throughout the quarter. Johnson this time is the one called for the personal. Pete Maravich, a 90.7% free throw shooter this season, makes the first of 2. He holds the season high in the NBA for points scored, assists, and steals, 61, 23, and 7 respectively. It's been that type of a season for Pistol Pete. As Maravich watches along as Green gets it, given off to Watts. Watts drives by his man, gets it to go with the pro touch. Approaching 5 minutes to go in the first half. Seattle leads by 4. Boyd cuts in, draws the N1. Watts called for the personal. And the 4th personal already for Slick Watts in this ball game. Not what Seattle wanted to see from their starting point guard, as they'll sum him out for the rest of the half. Boyd this season an 80% free throw shooter for the Jazz. Makes the free throw to complete the N1. 43-42 now the score. The floor for the Sonics. Lennox lined up alongside Green, Burleson, Bantam, Johnson the 5. Pass back outside. Setting up the play. Giving off to Green. Swat around to Burleson. Sheds his man. His man comes back. His man picks up the rebound. Boyd now has the size mismatch with Bantam. Poked out of bounds. Will stay Jazz possession. More substitutions coming into the game. It'll be Bob Wilkerson who will now move into shooting guard. Dennis Johnson will move over to point guard. Inbounded directly to Coleman. Giving to Maravich. Another long jumper. Another one drops. And the Jazz have rallied all the way back. They are in the lead with 4:30 to go in the first half. The lead was as much as 11 for the Sonics in this game. Burleson to Green. Back to Burleson. Has 7 on the shot clock. Goes for the jump shot off the back of the rim once more. Boyd charges his way down the court. Drives by several defenders as it gets blocked. Knocked it down. Stays Jazz possession. And Williams no good on the free throw, but it bounces back to the Jazz for a second opportunity. Jazz have now pulled away by 5, their largest lead of the game, as it's rejected this time by Brewer. Wilkerson tries to drive right to the cup. Gets double teamed out to Tolson. Back to Wilkerson. 50 seconds to play. Wilkerson off the window. Yes, he's got it. 10 points now for Wilkerson this half. Back within 3 once more. McElroy. Gives it off to Williams. Guarded by Seals. Back to Goodrich. Wilkerson switches over to Goodrich. Shot clock down to 4. It's one around to Williams. Williams rejected on the long jump shot. Fast break now for Seattle as they bring it back within 1. Shot clock is now off for the final possession of the half for the Jazz. Will they take the full time, or will they try and chuck it up? Letting it roll down to 10 seconds still. No motion yet for the play. Down to 5 seconds. McElroy drives in. Over top his man, no good. Johnson on the defense as Wilkerson will chuck it up to end the half. The Jazz lead 55-54. Taking a look at Pete Maravich, who has 22 points on the day, 2 rebounds, 2 assists on 10 of 18 shooting. He's been the main source of offense for the Jazz, who have been struggling from the field, but still lead 55-54 after shooting 13 of 16 from the charity stripe. I'm Justin Prince. Welcome back to CBS's coverage. The SuperSonics have the first possession of the half. Watts contested jumper to start, no good. Keep in mind, Slick Watts is in foul trouble. He's got 4 personal fouls as Maravich has it poked loose. Johnson couldn't get the steal. Maravich was able to get the ball back. Maravich now looks for separation. Goes for the long J. Gets it to go again. He's got 24. The leading scorer for the SuperSonics was Tom Burleson in the first half with 15 points on 6 of 9 shooting, followed by Bob Wilkerson's 10 points. Jazz's second leading scorer, Jim McElroy, with 10. Whistle drawn, and that will bring Burleson to the stripe to shoot 2. He's 3 for 3 from the charity stripe so far, and now his team is 11 for 12 on the day. SuperSonics have been shooting 22 of 48, that's 46% entering the frame. 1-point game once more, approaching 1 minute into the third quarter here on CBS. Jazz and the SuperSonics looking to close out the 1976-77 season with momentum. With it is Moore. Poked loose and stolen away by Wilkerson. He takes it up the floor. Finds his way to Bantam, who draws the whistle to go to the line to shoot 2. Boyd called for the personal. And that will bring Bantam to the stripe. A quiet night for Mike Bantam, just 2 points this evening, 2 rebounds and 1 assist. And taking his time here. And a bad first free throw. Into the game for Boyd with the foul is McElroy, as Bantam drains the second to tie it up at 57. And a whistle called, and bopped in the nose was Maravich. And with that broken nose, that can be a concern for this matchup. McElroy takes advantage of the overcommit, goes to the line to shoot for 2. Wilkerson called for the personal. As the first free throw no good for McElroy, his second miss from the stripe today. Make it 3 for 5 now for the charity stripe for McElroy. That gives him 11 points on the day with 2 assists. Watts scans the court, finds Burleson. Burleson out of the double team, drops it in like an elevator drop. Just floated right above the cup and just dropped it into the hoop. As McElroy cuts inside and drops it into the bucket himself. Make it 13 points in 13 minutes. 56% shooting for McElroy. Watts, he's now open. Burleson draws another whistle. And he'll go back to the line to shoot 2. Burleson is now 6 for 6 from the charity stripe on the night. Up to 20 points once more. He's had several 20-point performances this season. Can't make the second, however. So that ties it up at 60. McElroy drives by the defense like they're standing still once more. That makes it 15 points now for Jim McElroy in this matchup as Burleson cuts in and he'll go back to the stripe yet again. The whistles continue to fly here in this matchup. First free throw is good. Make it 21 points for Burleson. And the second this time drops. Still just 4 rebounds though for the big man. Just past 2 minutes into the third quarter here on CBS. We're tied at 62 between Seattle and New Orleans. Maravich. Again, another jumper with more space. No good. McElroy picks up the second chance. Otto Moore with the jumper. Yes. Otto Moore coming into tonight averaging 9.4 points per game and 11.5 rebounds. That time able to make the J. A quiet night for Moore. As Bantam off the window. Yes. He's starting to heat up in this second half. Moore, guarded by Burleson. 3 SuperSonics in the paint. Retreat down to just 1. Down low, Moore wide open for the layup. And we're starting to go back and forth here in the third quarter. As Watts backs up. Another screen by Burleson. Another drive. This time cuts it out to Bantam. Bantam backs up his man. Goes for the post fade. Gets to the drop. He's got 5 this quarter. Dennis Johnson will now guard Pistol Pete Maravich and swats the ball down. McElroy still able to get the pass. Maravich able to set the screen. McElroy able to draw another whistle and another trip to the stripe in this third quarter. And the Boo Birds continue to reign. First one is good this time for McElroy. Second one also falls. Still stays a 2-point game, approaching 4 minutes into the quarter. Momentum has to break eventually when it comes to these free throws. The question is how. Brewer down low, gets rejected, and he taps it out of bounds, so it's New Orleans ball. 88-85 your score, approaching 3 minutes to go now in the third quarter. It's set by Tolson. Watts slams it in for the dunk. What a cut by Slick Watts. And the slick move brings the lead down to just 1 once more. On the floor for the Jazz, it's Boyd, Williams, along with Behagen, Goodrich, and Moore the 5. Taken up now by Watts. Cuts to the right side, gives it off to Green. He goes into the paint, retreated out to Tolson. Tolson now brings it back in. Wilkerson takes it out. He brings it back in. He puts it in. Just his first points of the half. He had 10 in the first. Approaching 2 minutes now to go in the third quarter. Boyd. Guarded by Watts. Watts runs in a full circle around him. Down to 8 on the shot clock. Paint left wide open for the pick and roll. The pick. The roll doesn't go. It's rejected from behind. To beat the shot clock, it's no good. The 8th rebound now by Wilkerson in this matchup, the former Indiana Hoosier. That's Watts out to Seals for the long J. Yes, sir. Gives Seattle back the lead by 1. Clock winding down in the corner, and Slick Watts has fouled out. The reach-in is his 6th personal. Dennis Johnson will come in. Unbelievable. And the Jazz will go to the line to shoot for 2. Slick Watts fouls out with 14.6 assists on the ball game and 2 steals. Got a little too aggressive on defense, and now the Jazz have retaken the lead as a result of the trip. The SuperSonics have 1 point guard remaining on the bench. Johnson plays point guard as well as shooting guard. And as he makes the bucket, it still puts a strain now on the roster. Johnson with just 9 points on the day compared to Maravich's 26 at shooting guard. Behagen now draws the whistle. Tolson with the personal. And the whistles now continue to rain on down in this one. First one is good. Now bringing in the substitution, it's E.C. Coleman coming into the game. Coleman with a quiet day so far. 11.7 points per game, 12.2 rebounds into the day. It's now 94-93 with the trick. We'll see how Johnson rises to the occasion. Nearly gets the backcourt as he goes in for the right-handed stuff. My goodness, what a dangerous but exciting play. And back and forth we go like a pendulum swing with a minute to go in the third quarter. Boyd, guarded by Johnson. Given off to Goodrich. Pumps out his man. Down to Coleman. Deflected around. Second chance rims off the top of the board. Wilkerson picks up the rebound. His ninth. Seals. Down the floor. No good on the fast break. And will the Jazz slow down the tempo in this possession? No, they won't. It's intercepted instead. Wilkerson on the pick. Green draws the whistle, and he'll go to the strike to shoot for two. Freddie Boyd is now fouled out of the ball game. Boyd finishes the night with 9 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists in this game. So now the point guard situation is tight for the Jazz as a result. Both for good at the stripe, 97-94, 25 seconds remaining in the quarter. Maravich, very long J, no good, missed to the right. Shot clock is now off. Seattle keeping the tempo high, now slowing it back down. And to Johnson. Possibly the final shot of the quarter here is Wilkerson. Giving off to Johnson. Tries to cut left. Down the baseline. Yes, he's got it. With 0.8 seconds remaining in the quarter, the Seattle SuperSonics have taken a 5-point lead. What a turn of events. 2 players foul out. And after 3, 99-94 is your score. The momentum continues to shift around like a pendulum swing. It looked like the Jazz held momentum for much of the day. And then came Seattle, even with Slick Watts fouling out of the ball game. Now the SuperSonics lead by 3 after the jump shot made by Gail Goodrich as we start fourth quarter. I'm Justin Prince. Welcome back to CBS's coverage. So far, it's been a barn burner. Back and forth between these teams, both of them within range to score 100 points as Dean Tolson off the window gets the layup to drop. Seattle was shooting 39 of 78 on the day today, while the Jazz are 33 for 75. The main differential of +7 in made free throws for the Jazz so far. They've had 32 attempts to Seattle's 24. Down low, off the window, yes. Seals. So far, leading the way in scoring is the man with the ball. Pistol Pete, 26 points, 3 assists. Shot no good. Coleman picks up the rebound. Off to James down the baseline. He can't get the lucky roll. Johnson. By Goodrich once more. Drives on by. Down low. Kick back outside. 10 on the shot clock for Burleson. Has the mismatch. Guarded by Maravich. Can't get the post move to go. The leading scorer for the SuperSonics with 24, and Burleson can't make the post move. Williams now with the ball with 12 on the shot clock for the Jazz as a result. Goodrich trying to cut inside, couldn't get the pass. Williams tries to get the shot, couldn't get it to go. Johnson now gets his pass, tries to take it up for his layup. This time it does fall. Timeout called by the Jazz. The lead's extended to 9. 105-96 the score. Welcome back to Seattle after the Jazz timeout. The SuperSonics lead 105-96. I'm Justin Prince. Welcome back to NBA on CBS coverage for the closing stages of the season. McElroy, jump shot, no good. Momentum swings have gone back and forth. Both teams have led by double digits in this ball game. The Sonics by 11, Jazz by 12. Bring it back to 11 once more as Bob Wilkerson has now got 14 points on the ball game with 11 rebounds, a double-double. With it is Maravich. What an incredible game for Pistol Pete as he drives in and gets rejected by Burleson. Coleman now in the post. Retreats back to James. Aaron James laying it in. Can't get it to go in. Wilkerson will now bring it back up. Giving off to Johnson. Stop and go. Once more to the post. Brewer. Off the Seals. Double team. Back to Brewer for the jumper. Yes! And now Seattle has their largest lead of the night. 13 points. The largest lead overall. And a Seattle foul called. Down to the final 2 minutes and 37 seconds. Gail Goodrich has it poked away by Seattle. Johnson takes it up to Wilkerson. No good. For those just tuning in, it's been a wild one. Back and forth between 5 and 7 points for much of the frame. As now it's back within 5 after the Jim McElroy bucket. He's got 29 this game. That type of a night to close things out for these teams in their final stages. 77, your season. Bantam with the bucket that time. Under 2 minutes to play, the music starting to pick up urgently across the arena. James trying to spin around for space. Coleman with the pick. Coleman caught for it. James elects to keep it. James can't get it. James, second chance, does get it. No box out leads to the quick layup, and Seals will now give it up to Johnson. Seattle's had to do this all without a point guard. They have played much of this quarter with 5 big men on the floor. Burleson, double teamed, outside, the jumper, Wilkerson, yes, he's got it! Bob Wilkerson with 18 points, 8 this half. Does that count as the dagger is the big question. No good on the jump shot. More, the second chance rolls in. And back within 5 is New Orleans. Johnson, guarded by McElroy. Jukes out McElroy, goes for the J, no good. Second chance down low, Burleson retreats it out to Wilkerson with a fresh shot clock. Wilkerson draws the whistle, he'll go to the line to shoot for 2 with under a minute to play. Second personal for Goodrich on the play, as Wilkerson will move up to 19 points on the night. One of his best performances of the season, make it 20 on the second. And that may do it. Is it enough is the question. McElroy needs to make this. No. More. Can't rebound the ball. It's tapped out of bounds. Seattle possession. And a major upset to close off the NBA season in its final stages. Seattle will move to 37 and 44, while the Jazz will drop to 57 and 24 on the season. Bantam no good, down to the final 32 seconds. Goodrich trying to cut in. Down to Coleman, he draws the contact. He'll go to the stripe to shoot 2. E.C. Coleman entered tonight an 82% free throw shooter. Make the first as Seals will now come out of the game. Come in Olenek to the point guard spot. Give a shout out to Dennis Johnson, one of his best performances this season. 20 points, 11 assists. Stepping in for Slick Watts, who fouled out. Lead is down to 5. Jazz not giving up yet, will foul. They will need both shots to miss to have a shot. And it will be Johnson who will take the said shots. It's been a rough season from the charity stripe for him. Just 1 for 2 on the night so far. And the first is good. Seals will now come back in. And both are good this time. Timeout called by the Jazz with 25 seconds remaining. And the Jazz needing a miracle at this point. Welcome back to NBA on CBS. 129-122 the score. Goodrich needing to make it, no good. Johnson will get the rebound and the shot clock is off. For the SuperSonics, it's been a rough season. One of the worst records in the NBA. But they will close things out with one game remaining with a 4-game winning streak. They beat New Orleans 129-122 the final. I'd like to thank you for tuning in for tonight's exciting action from Seattle Center Coliseum. With that, it's time to say goodbye. See you next time. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Your final score, 129-122 the final. An exciting game to end off the season, to say the very least. It was one with a lot of back and forths, and the New Orleans Jazz got within 4 points of getting the lead back before we rallied to go back and forth from 5 to 7 points to close things out. Tom Burleson, Dennis Johnson, Bob Wilkerson, all with 20-plus points in the matchup, with Dennis Johnson stepping up after Slick Watts fouled out in this one. It was tough to stop Pistol Pete Maravich in this one and Jim McElroy, to say the very least, but in the end, we were able to overcome the struggles in this one. The free throw line was huge throughout this game, 36 for 40 for New Orleans, 27 for 32 for us. We shot 50%, they shot 41%, but as you can see, it all came down to the closing stages in this one to decide who would come away with this victory. Bill Walton ends up winning the MVP for the 1976-77 season, averaging 26 points per game and 19 rebounds along with 7 assists. The Rookie of the Year goes to Adrian Dantley. That was in no doubt with the performance he put up with just under 25 points per game, 7.9 rebounds, 5.5 assists while shooting 56.6%. Clifford Ray ends up winning Sixth Man of the Year for the Golden State Warriors, averaging double-double, while Maurice Lucas secures the Defensive Player of the Year after securing 16 rebounds along with 14 points per game, 1.4 steals, and 1.9 blocks, while Tate Locke wins Coach of the Year at 71-11. Let's take a look at the All-NBA teams as Pistol Pete Maravich, Nate Archibald, Rudy Tomjanovich, Julius Erving, and Bill Walton end up on the first team. David Thompson, Lou Hudson, Elvin Hayes, along with John Drew and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar end up getting the second team, while Brian Taylor, JoJo White, George McGinnis, Jamal Wilkes, along with Bob McAdoo are on the third team. First team all-defense, Archibald, Taylor, Lucas, Hayes, and Cowens. Second team, Brian Winters, Lionel Hollins, Julius Erving, Tomjanovich, Walton. In the first team all-rookie, as mentioned, Dantley, and that apparently was despite a right hand fracture. Moses Malone comes away with second, Lonnie Shelton, Richie Washington, and Lionel Hollins the top 5. Ron Lee had some all-star votes, apparently. Towards the midway break, he gets the second team, along with Scott May, Robert Parrish, Earl Tatum, and Cassie Russell. With that, it's time to look at our statistics for the 1976-77 season. Fred Brown led the way in scoring for us before a high right ankle sprain sent him to the sidelines for the closing stages, 17.3 points per game, along with 5.6 rebounds, 4.1 assists. Mike Bantam picked up 13.9 points per game, 12.3 rebounds. Mike Green had 13 points, 11 rebounds on the season, while Jim Brewer seen his averages dip from where they were at the trade deadline to about 12.8 points per game and 9.4 rebounds, while coming off the bench and making some spot starts. Tom Burleson averaged 11 points per game, 8.8 rebounds, and about a block per game. Slick Watts, one of the top assist getters this season with 7.8 assists per game while scoring 11.2 points per game and 6.9 rebounds, along with 1.5 steals on the season. Dennis Johnson in his rookie campaign, 11 points, along with 3.6 rebounds and 3.5 assists as well for the team. As well, Bob Wilkerson in his rookie campaign, 9.9 points, and 6.6 rebounds. The league leaders, let's take a look at those, as David Thompson led the way in scoring with 32 points per game, followed by Pistol Pete with 31.5, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with 31.2, tied with Bob McAdoo. George Gervin rounded out the top 5. The top rebounders, Abdul-Jabbar with 22.1, 21.6 for Cowdens. Artis Gilmore picked up just under 20, Bill Walton 19.2, John Drew 18.4 as a small forward. The top assist getters, only one player in double digits. Pistol Pete this season with 10.6, JoJo White picked up 9.9, Calvin Murphy 8.6 along with his 23 points. Nate Archibald was a 30.5 points per game scorer. He picked up 8.2 assists, with Walt Frazier rounding out the top 5 with 8.0. And as mentioned, Slick Watts, one of the top assist getters, he was 6th in the NBA this season. Top in steals, Brian Taylor, Maravich, Donjanovic, Larry Kennan, along with Phil Chenier. And this one, wow, for Artis Gilmore, he was the leading block getter this season, followed by Cowens, Bob Lanier, Billy Pultz, and Moses Malone. And your 1976-77 NBA champions are the Buffalo Braves. They've won 4-1 in their series, with Bob McAdoo picking up the Finals MVP for this season. They were able to defeat the Boston Celtics, who were the 2 seed for the 1976-77 season, so they were not able to go back-to-back in NBA titles. An impressive season overall, and in the end, we end up with one of the worst records in the NBA, yes, at 38-44. But the bright side is we have the opportunity to pick one of the top prospects for the 1977 NBA draft. With that, the 1976-77 season has come to a close. The offseason will be taking place next episode. Who will we get in the 1977 draft? Find out next time. With that, it's time to say goodbye. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening. I'm Justin Prince saying so long, and see you next time.